All right. Well, let's get rolling, shall we? Okay. So I want to know, did you strive to enter his rest this last week? Oh, I see Karen. That look is I totally forgot about that. Isn't it? It is.
Yeah. I don't think that I did it well.
You didn't do it well. Did you
Yeah,
practice?
not really. It was like I'm here.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Lorato, she said she got a little out of it, but it was pretty recent that you listened to it, right? Yeah. So, but right now she's at rest.
Yes.
That's good. River, how about you? She's trying to unmute. There we go.
Um, well, it was a pretty crazy week. I just moved two offices, plus I had a 3-day trip to California. But I kind of make a practice of like whenever I lie down or even close my eyes, like Lord, being with the Lord. So I don't know if that's completely in his rest, but I certainly uh, think about being in his arms a lot. So maybe that's his rest. I don't know.
It is for sure. Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay, let me just ask you. Does anyone here get tired of fighting? I'm going to say,
Yes,
even though I can't
yes,
see
and
Kara.
amen. Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay. All right. Please take my advice with the entering his rest. Okay. Re-listen to that one if you want to. I don't care, but you need to do that if you want to lay your swords down and really be able to. Because I know a lot of people in this class, probably everyone everywhere, but especially in this class, a lot of people deal with like pretty constant attacks. And so if that is you, you definitely need to strive to enter his rest, because if you don't, you will get completely beat up and burnt out and all of that because you don't have that refreshing. And so it's super important. If you want to be able to lay your swords down and get refreshed, you have to enter his rest to do it. If you don't, and I'm not just saying rest, take a nap, we can all do that, but that isn't the same as entering his rest. You understand? Because you can take a nap and still be attacked the whole time, right? um, a lot of people do. Oh, they're having bad dreams when this is happening or whatever. But we need to learn to make this a part of who we are. Um, okay, hold on. I see someone's messaging me. Um,
Yeah,
okay.
that's just.
You can say that out loud, you know. You don't have to. Mm.
I'm a teacher. I don't like for people to disrupt my talk all the time.
I mean, I do appreciate that. You're right.
Yeah,
But I'm
that's
not
all.
one who can easily teach and read at the same time. So I kind of have to pause. I mean, if
Okay.
it's like really brief, I could, but you know.
Yeah.
So she was just asking why the Lord basically asked the Lord why she receives ideas about Christian ministries when she's around me or the group. It's like it just pops up. Well, what do you think? I mean, to me, this seems pretty obvious, but I don't know. I think it's because of your call. I think that you are getting this. You're in the midst of something that is lighting up your spirit, man. And then you are basically already stepping into part of your call, even just by being here. But also, it's igniting something in you to start. And so I know that the Lord has been giving you these pregnancy visions or dreams or whatever that is about birthing.
The, the
Um,
delivery was weird that I saw in the spirit. I was like, a baby just plopped out.
well, almost all the time. I mean, sometimes it can be literal, but I would say most of the time that the Lord shows someone being pregnant or birthing something, it's about birthing a ministry. And so, or sometimes a business, but I would say, at least for you, I believe that it's a both. You know what I mean? That it's something that is a both. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, guys, for that delay.
no, don't be sorry about that. I think that this is the place to talk about that stuff. I mean, because we are all in this place where we are on our healing journeys to be able to move into our destinies. I mean, every person here knows that they're called by the Lord and that they have a big plan for their lives. Not everyone knows what it is, but everybody is on that track here. And so really the reason we go through our healing is halfway selfish. Yeah, it sucks to be in in the unhealed space. But also it's so that we can help other people. I mean, I hope that that's why everyone is here, because even if that isn't your intention, that is the purpose of the Lord. So the Lord lets you go through stuff so that you can go through the healing, get closer to Him, bring other people closer to Him, get them healed. That's the purpose. It is. And so I'll tell you, it doesn't mean that the Lord causes all the crap we go through, but He certainly uses it. And so I know that you guys will all be used for something great because of what you've been through, for sure. And I know that for myself. I wouldn't be doing this class if I hadn't gone through a whole bunch of crap, right? I mean, the only way I get to teach anything is because if I go through the junk. And so you guys just get to see all my junk because I get to go through it all. But it's wonderful. It's even though it's not fun to go through at the time, um, we're all still going through it. You'll probably continue to go through it most of your life. It'll just look different. So our our struggles change, but they're always there. And it's because that is what strengthens us. That's what draws us closer to the Lord. That's what makes us need to enter His rest, you know? And we need to do that. So anyway, I don't need to go on about that a million miles a day, but I will just say that today is the day for refreshing. Okay. So let this time be a time of refreshing. How about let's all press in and just go into the heavenly classroom and see what he has for us, see what's going on. Okay. Let's do it. Hey, let's focus back here. Thank you, Farah, for putting all that in the chat. I should probably read it for those who are going to be listening to the recording. Unless Farah, would you like to, since it's from you?
No, I'll pass it to you.
Okay. Well,
Unless you
I
want
think
me
it's
to.
helpful. Like, I appreciate even that you were putting it in the chat box because I could engage it um, when you were putting that in there. But Fair said, actually, I should probably put on my glasses. Fair said, as I started to press in, I heard an angel say that he's here to help remove a tumor. There's an older gentleman in the classroom, Melchizedek. I believe it's him. And he said, you can cord yourself to me, use me as an anchor too. And then she said, I sense a party atmosphere as well. I hear no more anger, no more sadness. I see money and coins being released. For some reason, I also see a boat. I also see Rapunzel like hair on someone. She said, I also see the bottom area, female area of a person, and I sense there has been trauma. That area of the person is being cleansed in oil. I also see a lot of angels that want to be assigned. It's like they're waving their hands to be chosen. I also sense that the angels are saying, please don't forget about me when you receive me. Connect with me. I can communicate with you. It was good. Especially because what we're talking about today, that last part was really pertinent. Anyone else have anything to share about what you were experiencing?
Hey, so what I saw wasn't nearly as kind of explicit as what Fair got. But I saw again all of us in the classroom, on each of us on kind of our own pod, but very connected, like our pods had roots that connected to each other, but also had almost like a kind of like a flower that has many blossoms and connects to the stem. And the stem was huge. I mean, not the stem, but the source was huge, and it was God. And then the Lord said, but that's actually, he said, you're getting that just because you're doing this, but actually that source is inside each and every one of you. That source is the identity that you have in Christ, and from which all of this comes. Our our power, our rest, our direction. It all comes from within each one of us, and the connection that we have with each other as we go through this process of um, reestablishing that or reacquaint, like um, building it, or like affirming it, stepping into it more. Um, the connection that we have together is really important in that, because it strengthens each one of us in it, and it's part of his plan for how community is built and how he intended people to work together. So
It's awesome. Cool. As you were saying that, I was thinking of how important it is to have um you know how we have different people who are able to show up every week in the class. Karen seems to be here most weeks, which I appreciate, by the way. But I would say it's important that we have people who can connect during the class so that those who connect on the recording have something to kind of anchor themselves to. And I think your pod thing that you were talking about with like how we're all on our own, this is kind of how it seemed to me. We're all on our separate journeys, and our kind of time with the Lord and healing and all of that, but we're connected and we can draw from one another. And I think it's important that we do that through different testimonies or experiences. And even just like when we're engaging like this together, some people are not going to get very much and other people are going to get a lot. And it's really important that there are, little pieces here and there that people can draw from. Because like when Fair was talking about, let's see, what was it? Mm, she was saying, I sense a party atmosphere as well. I hear no more anger, no more sadness. I see money and coins being released. For some reason, I also see a boat. All of that little part right there has been, it felt like it was speaking to me about what I was going through this week. And it was so good because I could then press into that and engage it more, you know? And I think that without that, like if she wouldn't put any of that stuff, I'd be like still hanging out. So, Lord, what is it that you want to talk to me about? You know what I mean? We need each other like that so that we can, connect. And maybe I don't connect to the Rapunzel hair, but maybe somebody else does, and I think that that's the cool part about this. And it could be that even no one who is here currently in this classroom with us um, connects to that, but someone who is listening who is in our class does. And so it's good for us to be able to do that. If you are listening and you are not in the class right now with us on Zoom, I should say, please feel free to share things in the class group that you get when you are engaging with us during the recording, because I think that will be helpful for everyone too. Like I know there are a couple people who have never been able to get on live with us, but they listen every time and are growing. That's very helpful. But if you don't interact in the class on WhatsApp, it's hard for us to be able to glean from you and to be able to grow alongside you. So I would just recommend interacting some in that way. Um, All right. Well, I appreciate all of this stuff, ladies. I will say today, what the Lord is wanting me to talk about is really something I would never have thought had anything to do with healing. But as we were engaging just now, He started showing me kind of course it does. You know what I mean? And so that was very helpful. Lorado, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're not
I was
interrupting.
slow to raise my hand.
Go ahead.
Just when you were saying that when we watch a recording, we should share what we're experiencing. So I think on Friday or Thursday or the first day you posted the video, I think it was a little bit late, middle of the week, almost the end of the week.
I think it
I,
was
I
Wednesday, at
listened,
least for me.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I didn't finish. And when I listened, I fell asleep while listening to it, as tired as I would be.
Yeah.
And I had a very nice dream. I was kind of like, when you're sleeping and resting in the air, but you are awake, but you are resting. It's like your eyes are open, you can see your surroundings, but my body and everything, it's resting. At the same time, I'm flying and I'm in control of myself flying. I can move higher, lower to the earth, or I can control, but yet I feel like I'm resting. But I still have a control to move around as I'm flying. And the moment I realized what was happening, it's like I was floating on top of the water, but I was not touching the water yet. And I was in control then where I can go lower or higher. And I went a bit higher, a bit lower, and I saw a crocodile, some few of them in the water, and it was a nice experience. They were not even aggressive or anything, but I knew at the same time there could be danger, so I shouldn't go too low and I moved away, and but it was so beautiful to watch, and I flew up higher, and then I went lower again to the ground, and then I saw some, it's like a flock, sheeps, and I could see the dog, the shepherd dog that was protecting and guiding the dogs, I mean the sheeps. And it was beautiful to watch. And as I was approaching and coming closer, they were not getting away from me. They were not threatened by my presence. And it was so peaceful and so nice to watch. And at that moment, I was appreciating the nature, the ground, the animals. It was so beautiful. It was a rest that I haven't seen in a long time.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
I wanted to share that.
That's very cool.
I didn't share. Can I share real quick?
Of course.
I said I was not gonna open my mouth just in case I didn't hear it right, but
Karen,
I don't want to go and not let y'all know what I saw.
thank you.
Okay, what I saw when we were engaging in the classroom, I saw like this waterfall. The waterfall, the waters, the like we were in the river and the water, and it was just pouring out upon us. And there were gifts coming out of the waterfall, and we were all receiving these gifts. Um, Fair, I saw these weights that were on you. It was like big metal weights on both of your shoulders, and but the weights were being removed from you. I saw us graduating.
Amen.
There were people, yes, yes. And then people were also, it was like graduation. Um, you were receiving, everybody was getting gifts. And then Christine, I saw like you were getting, it must be like a mantle. I saw it. What it looks like. It looks like you know what you wear around your robe when you're graduating, like some and almost like yours was gold, and it was around. It went around your on your around your neck or on your shoulders, but you were getting another one. You already had some, but you were getting another one.
That's cool.
So, but that's what I saw. But we were all receiving gifts, like we were really being rejuvenated because of all that we had gone through in this season. Okay.
Yay, that's awesome. Thank you. See, I'm glad when you guys share like that. That's wonderful. Very cool. That's very encouraging. Well, so today, what the Lord was wanting me to talk about was governing. And I'll tell you what, when he told me I should talk about that, I'm like, how does this have anything to do with healing? I really was clueless about it. And I definitely know the importance of governing. Like I do. That's a big thing for me. But I didn't realize how much it had to do with that until actually I was dreaming last night, which is not weird for most of you, but it's very weird for me. I don't dream very often. And when I did dream, I was teaching in this class about governing. And so it was so funny because everything I feel like I already have done. Like we've already had this class. But I know that the Lord was just leading me and guiding me. And I even saw some different people in the class that I did not expect. And in fact, in the class, I was like, why is he there? And there's this person that I respect a lot in the spirit who has just kind of come back up in, I wouldn't even say in my life, like I don't really know him that well. It's just someone who I used to kind of connect with in the spirit when I first started my journey. And anyway, so he was in the class and he was actually gleaning a lot, which before I would have said that he would be teaching me, you know? And so that was very interesting. But I'll tell you, there are many ways to look at governing. We've talked about going to the courts of heaven. That's one way of governing. But what we're really going to focus on today is governing your mountains. Okay. And so for some of you, this will be a really good reminder. And for others of you, it will feel like it is over your head. The Lord wanted me to tell you it's okay to not understand everything or function in it all right yet, but that you need this foundation. Okay, so think about this as something that you let sink into your spirit that you will be able to draw on later. Okay. So hold on, Karen's entering again. So anyway, hi Karen. I see her back. I was just telling them, and I want to reiterate this very quickly. We're going to be talking about governing today. And I was telling them that some people will feel very like, oh, this is a good reminder. And other people will feel like it's over their head and something they can't really tap into yet. That's what the Lord was showing me. Okay. And that it's okay that everybody needs to have it as a foundation. And for those of you who have forgotten, you need to be reminded. Okay. And so we're going to be talking about governing our mountains. So everyone who is even an unbeliever, okay, like every person has mountains. You have a mountain of your life, and then you have mountains of responsibility under that. Okay. Now, those who are not believers, who are not functioning with the Lord, will oftentimes build their own mountains or take over mountains that maybe they shouldn't be governing. Okay. But they do. Think about a business. Oftentimes people have business mountains. And so it's something that has to be governed. If you own a business, you have to govern it. You have to do something to make sure it works and that it's flowing and that, it's profitable, whatever, right? So everybody does this in the natural, but what you don't understand all the time is that when you're doing this in the natural, there is also a spiritual aspect to it. So even if you haven't thought about that, say you work for somebody. Okay, I'm going to use you, Lorado, as an example. You work for a company. You are not the boss of the company. You don't do much governing, right? But you are there working for this company. What you may or may not understand is that there is still a spiritual aspect to the governing of this company. And even though you're just a worker, in the spirit, you might have some responsibility for that company that you're unaware of. Okay. Because other people aren't taking that responsibility. All right. So even though they might be governing in the natural, there is an angel of the house that is assigned to that company who is there, whether they're ever being engaged or not. But because you know how to engage angels, or you're learning anyway, this is something that you might be called to do, is engage that angel. I have a good friend. Some of you know him, Robert. He works for a company, has nothing to do with governing the company in the natural. And he has been called to interact with the angel of the house there and help that company. And also the angel helps him in his job to know how to stay encouraged, to know what he's supposed to focus on, stuff like that. And it's really cool to see how he can interact and have such a big part in that company's destiny, even though he is just a worker. And so you can do this with places that you work. But it goes even deeper because for me, I have several different mountains that I'm called to. Okay. So in my life, I actually have a healing mountain. Not everyone will have a healing mountain, but for me, it's one of my callings. And so I have a whole part of my life that is, I'm supposed to govern healing. Okay. So it's not just my own healing. This one is for me to help others get healed. Okay. I have also a family mountain, and my family mountain isn't just my kids and me. It's actually all of my extended family. The Lord has said, you need to govern this. I remember when He put me in charge of this, I was like, but wait, what about, shouldn't my dad be doing that or something? And the Father just said, you don't, you think your dad can do this in the spirit? And I was like, okay, that's true. I mean, the truth is, he's a wonderful guy. He should be the patriarch, but he doesn't have the intimacy with the Lord. He would say he loves the Lord, and I believe that's true. He believes everything, but he doesn't have very much relationship with the Lord. So he can't see in the spirit. He can't function in the spirit very much. And so there's no way that he could govern our family. So that's why the Lord has called me to do it. So a lot of times we will be called to step up to govern things that are now our responsibility in the spirit, whether we are the normal people to govern in the natural or not. Does that make sense? So you might have other things that you're called to. I have a power mountain that has to do with electricity. It's very strange. I remember when the Lord showed me this, I'm like, what? I don't know anything about this stuff. And I was like, I don't care. I don't know about any of this. And the Lord that night just started giving me a passion for it. And I started learning quantum physics. I never cared about that stuff before. And now all of a sudden, it's one of my passions. And it's because the Lord has given that to me in the spirit. And so it's something that I know a lot about. So some of you were in this class earlier on, and we did a whole class on frequency. Do you remember this? We did a class on frequency, and it was because of that. Like, that is a huge part of healing, but it's also a huge part of a lot of other things. And so I could teach on frequency for years because that is just my passion, because that's one of my mountains. And so you need to seek for yourself, what are my mountains? You might have an education mountain if you're a teacher, or even if you're supposed to continue to learn all the time. Lorato, go ahead.
Sorry,
Mhm.
I'm not sleepy now. I'm disturbing you. I wanted to ask you, remember there was a time you also taught us that the earth is alive, and someone also mentions that plant, if you have them in your house, they're also alive. A lot of things, they are like a bean.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, electricity, is it a being as well? Is it alive as well? Because I once had a dream while I was younger where I saw a transformer, a generator transformer actually, and it was like lightning coming out of it. But I could see almost like a human structure or a being structure that was alive. And you know, when it's like a person is moving, you could tell, but they're all made up of light, doesn't like lightning. And
Uh-huh.
it was inside the generator, and it looked as if it's alive, it's a being. And I never understood it that time back then. So could it be also be a being like the earth and the plants and other things that the Lord has created?
I want to give you my opinion on this. Okay. And when I say this, please don't take it as absolute truth. Seek the Lord on it yourself. But my belief is that the electricity is life. So it's not that it is a being, but it gives life to anything. So remember when Father created the world and he did it with his voice? That is also a frequency of electricity. Okay. Your voice, when you speak, you can measure it. Okay. They're wavelengths of energy. And so energy itself is life. And so you can have, that's why if you have like a high frequency, it's very, very life giving until it goes flat and then it's dead. Right. And so that's what I believe, that energy is life itself. And so if you saw in this transformer or generator, whatever it was, that it was like all of this came together to create some sort of being, it's kind of like the energy is creating a being of life in that transformer. And so that's why even I interact with things that are, it's weird, but I interact with things like water heaters and whatever, because they have life in them, whether they are inanimate beings or not, they have life, that energy that you can speak to. And so, and think about the fire in it and everything like that. All of that is life and energy. And so you can interact with that in the spirit and in the natural. So the thing is, how the Father created all of these things that we think of as natural science is also spiritual. So it's like the natural laws are also the spiritual laws, even though humans have tried to separate it. And it's like they've said science is over here, spirituality is over here. It's actually all together. It's the laws of the world, of not even just our world. You know, this is the laws of creation, of being. And the Lord has made it this way. And so that's why those of us who walk in this supernatural, it's usually not actually supernatural. It's natural in a way that has a higher belief, so that we can start walking in a way that is beyond what people understand in science. But it's still actually quite natural. You know, if I go and I lay hands on somebody to heal them, I'm actually functioning in a way that is natural. But if I do this before I understand and I'm just relying on faith in the Lord, that's still good. He's still showing me what to do. It's just I don't know why, right? I'm kind of a little bit like a baby, like, okay, mom, I'll obey you. And so I'm doing it, not understanding why. But the more mature I get, the more he shows me the how and the why behind all of it, to where I understand that these things are actually natural. They're laws that he put in place. He's just showing me. And so it just all goes together quite amazingly. Anyway, can you tell I might be passionate about such things?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Sorry. What am I mounted? Well, that was a fun question. River, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to confirm. I got really excited when you said governing, because that's the word that came up today, and also last time. I think it was when I talked about seeing those pods of us with us in the classroom, was like that it was about governing, that we each have our own place where we're governing. So I just wanted to confirm that, and I'm excited about this because the Lord's already like starting to pour in things about helping me to understand how different parts of my life have to do with governing that I haven't really realized.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. When you're talking about that with the pods, let me explain this part of governing as well. We all have these different mountains, right? I have a mountain of healing. We've talked about that. Other people have their own mountains. They have their own things they're governing, but there will be overlap in everybody's blueprint. So you have your own blueprint for your life. What the Lord is showing you, here's what your life should look like. This is what you should be governing. And he did not make any of us to function independently. So we have our own responsibilities, but our blueprints overlap, not in every area. So, like, some of you will be like, oh my gosh, would she shut up about the frequency? I don't give a crap. That is natural, actually, for you to think that, if it's nothing that you are supposed to govern. Does that make sense? But then there are others of you that are like, oh my gosh, that lights a fire in me. Something is here. And it's probably because you have an overlap with me. And so you are needing to govern that too. And so you just think about these things. We're all meant to overlap in some area. So I may have nothing in common except for one thing with Lorado. But that one thing will help us overlap in a way that brings life actually to the other things we're governing. So even though I don't have anything to do with, I don't know what you govern, I really don't remember. I'm sorry to say, but I'm sure there's something in your life that I'm like, yeah, I got nothing on that. Okay. It still can bring life to you, and it can bring life to me because we do overlap in some areas. One of the other things that I have a big role in is kingdom order, which has to do with governing. Okay, so that's probably why the Lord is having me teach this, is because that is one of my mandates, is to establish kingdom order in the earth. Kingdom order is an order that is a heavenly order. And so most people are not ordered like that in the earth at all. They are kind of willy-nilly trying to figure things out and govern things. Okay, so they really don't understand any kind of structure or order to it. And I didn't either until the Lord started showing me all of this and showing me like it's literally embedded in my being. And so it's something that I understand now. By the way, when I understand, I probably understand only in part. Of course, I'm not claiming to have same understanding as the Father yet, but I'm getting there. And so I know that what I have is supposed to help everyone else be able to govern better. And so let me give this example. When I'm talking about governing, this is what I do. It's important that you are intentional about it. You can govern willy-nilly, but it is not going to work very well. It's important that you structure your life to be able to intentionally govern. Now, when I say that, I mean have some sort of time that is planned that you won't neglect it. Okay. Now, who knows what you're going to be doing during that time? The Lord knows. You'll want to go as you're led to do what He leads you to do. But at least you are realizing I'm taking responsibility, right? Okay, so I'm going to use myself as an example with this. I have a homeschool mountain as well. You guys know I homeschool my kids. So I teach them. I also interact with other homeschool families that I help as well. And so there's a lot more to my homeschool mountain than sometimes I realize. But if I am not intentionally governing that, my kids start falling off in the way of education. Okay. So if I am just like, oh, yeah, do your thing, and that's it, which I do sometimes, by the way, admittedly. There are times when I will be like, just get your stuff done. I don't care what it even is. And then there are other times when I'm much better about it because I've been intentional. And I have sat down with them and we figured out exactly what they're going to do. And we have gone over their work to make sure that it's how it should be. And if it's not, then we correct it and we figure this out. I don't do school the way a lot of schools do. So a lot of schools just teach for a test and then they get a grade. So mine's a little different. When we do things, I always am working with them on where is the Lord leading you in your life. We have to teach according to that. Okay, so that's what I do. I know it's strange. Do your own thing. I don't care, but this is what I do. I just I make sure that I'm leading them in the way they should go. And that, so for instance, if I have a kid who wants to be an artist, I am not going to be teaching them algebra. On the other hand, if I have a kid who wants to be say an engineer, I'm going to be teaching them algebra. You know what I mean? So there's a difference in how I teach each kid and what they're learning. And when I do, I make sure that they learn how to learn. That is what the Lord has led me to do, that it's not just teaching them what they need to know, but I teach them how to get the information they need to know, teach them how to learn. Okay. So that's my role, is leading and guiding them to learn and learn how to learn. When I talk about learning, it's not learn how to get the right grade. If you mess up, I don't just leave it as you messed up. We go through and we learn what the mess up was because the point is learning. Okay. And so for me, I have to be really intentional with that. If I'm not intentional, then it just falls completely apart. So I have to structure my life in a way that I know these are the days that we do school. These are the days that I prepare. This is, there are certain times that we start. There are certain times they have to be finished. There are things like that that I have to make sure I govern right in the natural, but I have to govern these things in the spirit as well. And so when you have certain things that you're responsible for in the spirit, you have to structure your life accordingly. You have to know, if I'm responsible for this in the spirit, I better put time aside to prepare for it. I better see how the enemy is trying to attack so I can know how to have a good, but do I need a strategy? Is the Lord showing, hey, you're being attacked in this way and you have no idea what to do? You go, okay, I better get a strategy. Let's go to the court of strategies for this, which is the same as the court of war. Okay. So, yes. Okay. I'm making sure you can see me. Loretta was moving. That's good. Okay. So, um, anyway, when I press in about something, this is what I do. I try to do daily. I can't say I am 100% consistent, but I really try to do this. So I have a time every day. I do this right when I wake up. So this is for me something I do when I wake up. It would be great if I did this at night, but I don't always remember. Okay. Um, but I at least do it every morning. It's when I do remember. As soon as I wake up, I start governing. That's what I do. So I go straight into relationship with the Lord and I go, okay, Lord, what do you want me to look at today? And I'm just at my mountain with him. And sometimes he's just like, you need some healing today. And so he'll like spend some time pouring out oil on me or something like that. And it doesn't have anything to do with governing the rest of my life. But then there are other times when he's like, you really need to focus on your business. And so right here, you need to focus on business and you need to restructure some things here because it's not flowing as it should. And so I get, okay, what do I do? Who do I contact? What do I need to do? And I just ask questions to try to partner in the way that he's leading me to partner. He'll show me sometimes, hey, there's a blockage here. I'll go, okay, is this something that I need to do in the natural? Is this the enemy? What's happening here? And sometimes he'll show me, no, this blockage is actually because this person over here needs help. And so I might see, oh, there's River on my mountain. She is hurting. I need to engage over. I need to go, what does she need? How can I help her? Right? I mean, it's so different every day what governing looks like, but the point is showing up for it, if that makes sense. Because it's really different in every area you govern in your life. You just need to make sure and show up and say, what's going on? How can I partner? That's what you need to do. That's the important part, is showing up. And the Lord will lead you in what to do, because I don't know what to do. I still don't know what to do. I've been doing it for years. And every day I don't know what to do. I have to be led in what to do. And if you say, I don't even understand a mountain. Okay, you don't have to understand a mountain. Just go, okay, Yeshua, I'm showing up here. What do I need to do? And he may lead you in a completely different way. And you may see yourself flying through a galaxy and doing something weird. And it's fine, because you're just doing what you're led to do. And even if you don't understand what you're doing, he will lead you in the way that is important. And what happens is we need to be open. It's very good to partner with other people when you're governing. Okay. Not everything will you need to do this with, but a lot of things. And so remember River talking about the pods. We're all kind of in our own world, if you will, in our own pod, but we're all connected. If we can engage with other people, it can really help open things up. Even just with Fair, seeing some of the stuff that she shared, it really helped me because I have had a lot of anger, a lot of sadness this week, big time. The Lord was really intentional with me a couple days ago with taking that off, yet I put it back on. I mean, I'm just confessing. Like I did not mean to, but that's what I did. And I put it right back on, even though it was all taken off.
I get it.
And
I get it.
and then even you said in that same one, I see money and coins being released. I remember when I said earlier to Lorato about South Africa, if it's his will, it's his bill. Absolutely. I was just talking to River earlier about this health stuff that I feel led to do, but I have no money. If it's his will, it's his bill. I know that. I need reminding. I need that. I see money and coins being released. I'm like, right. He showed me that. He showed us that earlier, a couple days ago, that would be released. I have no idea how, but just like he did that with the coins and the fish for the taxes, I know he can do it for me. I know he can do it, even though it makes no sense. It can show up if it's his will for me. And so I have to remember, like, I need people. I need people to show me this stuff, to govern my life well. And you need people. So you know how Nidia is trying to put together this schedule with people when they can engage in our class? I know a lot of people have not given her anything. Please give at least a couple times during the week that you can engage. I mean, just send her that stuff because it might not be the same as somebody else, but she could put on a list. Here's when people could engage, and someone could go, oh, well, I know that didn't match up with what I gave, but I could move things around and do it there. Just make sure that you send something because we are supposed to work together. Do you have to work together all the time? No, but if you could be consistent with trying, it will help. I guarantee everybody struggled this week with engaging the rest stuff because you didn't engage with anybody else over it. But if you were intentionally engaging with somebody else, you would have pressed into it, right? I mean, I'm not trying to condemn you for anything. Please, no shame or guilt. But if you want to grow, you have to be intentional. If you want to flourish, you have to be intentional. If you want to be responsible, you have to be intentional. I have struggled with people who say that they want to lead and say that they want to govern and do these things, but they can't even show up on time. And little things like that, I'll tell you what, if you can't show up on time, how are you going to lead? How are you going to do it? If I don't show up, you guys can't get into class. It wouldn't happen, right? I have to show up on time or nobody's going to have class. And so you have to have certain things that you do that you say, this is the time I'm going to do it. I'm setting it aside. This is for sure happening. I structure my life because I know how much others depend on it. And so I have to have that. I am not a very organized person. Okay. This is the truth. I would love to say that that's a big strength of mine, but it's not. I can be intentional though. And if I'm intentional, I do things differently than is natural for me so that I can benefit others and especially the Lord. if the Lord has given me a responsibility and I'm not even remembering that I have it, goodness, I mean, that's a big drop in the ball thing. And we don't need to wonder why our life falls apart when we're not even showing up to govern it. Right. And so think about this. This week, you have certain responsibilities. I don't know what they are. You have a lot of responsibilities in the natural. Let's remember that you have responsibilities in the spirit and ask the Lord, what is it you want me to focus on? So I want you to ask, give me a couple mountains that I'm responsible for. Like, just show me something. Okay. I don't know what it all is, but if I have 7, at least show me one so I can see what I'm supposed to focus on. Most of the time, the Lord does not lay out all 7 mountains for you to focus on at one time because it's difficult for us humans to do that. And so he'll lay out one and you'll start being responsible for it and you'll start focusing there. And then he'll lay out another eventually. And then you'll be like, okay, I can do that. And you start to get a hang of things. And so if you feel like there's something that you're supposed to be governing, like today when we were engaging, the Lord had me focusing on my business mountain. My business mountain is a big part of it is ministry. Okay. So ministry and business are almost the same for me. I know it sounds a little strange, but that's how he set up my life. That is what I do for a living is ministry. And so he was showing me how I have neglected the kingdom order in my business. And so he's showing me this has to be restructured. And so I'm like, oh, okay, what should I do? So I start pressing into how do I restructure it? How do I be more intentional? How do I need to schedule things? Who do I need to get involved? You know, these are the things I'm asking when he's saying, I don't have kingdom order. Because I know if there is no kingdom order, there will be no healthy flow. So I need to make sure that I have a healthy flow from heaven into the earth. Because things can look awesome in heaven and not manifest in the earth if I'm not making them flow by doing both. I have to govern in heaven and the earth for it to work. So even like, okay, so Lorato said, I need that money to stay in the class till December. Okay, that's something we can engage over. You know what? These things, that's exactly what I was thinking when Fair said about, we can anchor ourselves to Melchizedek. Do you remember that he is kind of like the manager on the trading floor? He's a good one to anchor yourself to. Say, okay, Melchizedek, I'm here for it. Help me out. I don't know how to trade. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need money to stay in this class. Help me what to do. Show me what to do, or just do it for me. Either way, just ask if you can anchor to him. That would be awesome. I was thinking about this with,
Thank you for adding that.
I think it's
I said,
important.
thank you for, yeah. I forgot that he was on the trading floor. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure he can do way more than just that, but this is something that I know that he can help us with. And so I need help. I will say, hey, I need help. Do you remember also there were all of these angels who were eager to help and jumping up and down, pick me, pick me. This is something that is a big part of governing is taking responsibility for the angels who are assigned to help you in your governing. Okay. And when you take responsibility for them, all you're doing is it's kind of like opening for business. Okay. So if I have a grocery store and that's my business, then I have to get all my workers in place. You ready to open? Are we going to get to work? You have your responsibilities. You have your responsibilities. You have yours. Okay, cool. We're about to open. Okay, open the doors. We're ready for business. And so then you do that and you're ready for the day and they each have their responsibilities. Everybody's ready to work and it's good. But if you have a bunch of workers who show up and you don't show up, And then nobody opened the door. And they're just like, I'm here. I thought I was supposed to be working. I got a job here. I mean, it's good for us to recognize we have those angels and to interact with them and to make sure everybody's ready and to do our job to make sure everything's flowing. So, Fair, what you said about them is remember, okay, let me see what it said. And I also sense that the angels are saying, please don't forget about me when you receive me. Connect with me. I can communicate with you. That is true. I don't know how many times I have had angels who are assigned to me that I completely forget about. Go ahead, Lorado.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, she wrote it
Can
down.
you say that again? That
yeah, she said,
I can't see it.
okay. She said, I also sense that the angels are saying, please don't forget about me when you receive me. Connect with me. I can communicate with you. And so this is important. I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, I don't know if you remember from last week, but the Lord has told me I can't engage over other people when I am on Sabbath, right? Do you remember me saying that? And it may not be for everyone, but that's for me. And so inevitably, people bombard me on Sabbath with, please, please, I need help in this area. Okay, this is something that happens all the time to me. And so I'm like, oh, and I have this weird guilt about it. Like, I'm trying to obey God, but I'm trying. And then I'll be like, Lord, can I please just, this is what I do. um, the Lord showed me just this last week, actually, with someone who really needed my help. And really wanted me to engage over them for something. It was for like a car problem that his ex-wife has and whatever. I don't know. But something that I don't know what I'm doing with this anyway, but I would have engaged over it. And he was really upset about this. And so I was just like, well, I do have these angels that help me fix cars. And so I was just like, hey, can you guys deal with this? I said, I'm staying here. One of the things is they travel with me. So if I'm traveling, like they can't go and help other people, weird. But I've learned this that through interacting with them and trying to help people and do stuff like this. And so they're assigned to me first. But if I want to send them somewhere, I just can't be traveling too. And so I'm at home doing nothing on Sabbath. And I say, okay, can you go help? Can you just go over there and make sure that that car works and whatever? It's so wonderful to be able to do that, to be able to have help when I'm not supposed to be working, that they can go do it. And so it's like this with everything, but I forgot that I even ever had them until that moment. Like, okay, I know I have them, but I forget. I don't naturally think of it all the time. And so it'd probably be good if I had a list of all these different angels that have helped me in different ways. So I know, like, I can call on them. I know that there are certain angels that can help with my Wi Fi I've been struggling with, but I forgot. I'm just like, crap, I got to call the cable company and figure out why it's. And I forget. I can just say, hey, yo, will you just deal with that, please? They're there for us to help for what we're supposed to be doing. I need my Wi Fi to be able to connect with people on private appointments and teach my classes. It's for the Lord's work. It's not just because I want to watch TV. This is like, it's important. And so they're happy to help with things that are getting our destinies accomplished. That's the whole point. And so if you have things that you need help governing, ask if there are angels who want to help, because there are a bunch of angels who are over here waving their hands to be chosen. And so if you have stuff and you're like, I need help, I don't understand. You know what? I have something I would love help with. I'm just thinking of it now. I have all this yard work that I can't get done. I would love help with that. I mean, would you please help me with this? I need to get these trees out so they don't ruin the foundation. Okay, there are certain things I need. And so I need to be able to call on angels to help with these things too. And there are so many things they can do that you think there's no way. I mean, I remember when some of you have heard this story, so please forgive me, but there was a time when I was supposed to have some Bible study or meeting or something at my house later. And I was working and I couldn't quit working. And my house needed swept really badly. Like, I need to get my house swept and clean, but I did not have time. And I was freaking out about it. And the Lord was like, you have angels who can help. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, all right, how are they going to help sweep my floor? But I asked them, and I'm like, by faith, okay, I believe you can do it. Can you please sweep my floor? And I had meeting after meeting after meeting. I couldn't get out to do it. I came out and my floor was swept. And I was like, this is a miracle. I'm like all excited. My floor was swept. Well, a friend told me, hey, later, she said, hey, I just had this like feeling from the Lord or something that I needed to go sweep your floor. So I went, and I had given her a spare key actually to my house. She went, came in, swept the floor, and left. And these angels went and like whispered in her ear or something. But I mean, they know how to get stuff done, even if it's not the way we expect. Because I'm thinking, how are they going to take this floor? And you know what I mean? But they'll figure out a way. And so it's cool. We can do that. We can ask for help with all these things. Maybe the angels will go talk to the next door neighbor about helping with my yard work. This happened before. And so maybe, I don't know, but I'm expecting they can help when I don't get it. Right? So, let's have some faith for these things. Let's activate these things in our life. Let's show up with a schedule. Okay. Show up every day, or at least if you need to meet with other people, at least once a week. I know that I was thinking about this. River. You guys may or may not know this, but River is on the bench for this Kohen Gadol school. I don't even know if River remembers. Because we don't meet regularly about it, but I don't know, a month or two ago, the Lord showed us that. And we need to meet every week, River. And I also know other people who are supposed to be doing this with us now, because that was one of the things the Lord was showing me when we were engaging today. So I'm excited for this. I know that the Lord has a way to get more things done, and we need to be obedient to showing up for it. Otherwise, it'll just flounder for a long time. These things we're responsible for. If you're responsible for raising your kids, show up, ask, what do I do over them? What do they need today? Do I need to release peace, wisdom, understanding, protection? What do I need to do? This is something you got to show up. Oh, you need to help activate their angels because they don't know how to do that yet. Okay. Hey, would you please protect them and help them and whatever? I mean, you can do this. You just have to show up for it. Right? Okay, any questions in this? I kind of went over a lot of things with not very much structure, I admit. So, questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today I bought two pens, this ones.
Okay.
One I took to work today, and uh, so every we do a plant inspection in one of the rooms. You always have to fill up a page that says you were there at what time, what was the reason, were you repairing or inspecting. I lost one of them, and I like it. And I went back to look for it, trace my steps. I couldn't find it. I remember in my close to giving up moment, I said, "My angels, please help me find this pen. I kind of like it. I think I did it before and I found it. And this time I did it again. I didn't find it, but I knew that probably it will show up somewhere. I will find it somewhere. So it was quite funny. Um, does it happen that your angels can be upset with you? Like, no, today you didn't greet me. I'm not gonna do it.
I mean, they do have free will like we do. And so, yes, I mean, I admit I have had angels who actually hated my guts. You wouldn't think that that's a thing, but if you think about it, I mean, a third of the angels went and followed Lucifer because they were mad at God. So I'm pretty sure that they can do that with anybody, actually. Um, but things will work out. I will tell you this. I'm not saying that that's the case, Lorado. It's possible. But when you were saying that, I was reminded about how the Lord led me to do a lost and stolen things court case for everything that has been lost and stolen to be returned back immediately to me and all of my family. And that has been so helpful over the years because, well, first of all, I was shocked after I did that. I started having things returned to me that had been lost for years or stolen. One thing was stolen. I even had a wallet that was stolen at the mall. And somehow, an ex boyfriend of my sister's from high school came across in this guy's house, came across all these wallets, and one of them was mine. And he recognized my face, sent it to me in the mail. And he contacted me on Facebook and sent it to me in the mail. And this was like after 9 years or something that was returned back to me. It was a long time. And it was just like, wow, Lord, okay, I see you. I had money that the electric company sent back to me because they had been overcharging me and I didn't know. Yeah, nobody does that. Okay, so that is the Lord. It is the Lord. It has to be the Lord. And so when these things start to happen, you go, wow, there's a lot that has been lost or stolen that we don't even notice that can be returned back if we go after it. And so I would recommend, just because the Lord was bringing this up to me when you were talking, doing that lost and stolen things court case. And I didn't know what I was doing when I did it. I just was like, okay, I'll show up for it. And then it was just like in the normal court of accusations. I went in, asked, I was with Yeshua. We just asked for that. And then these accusers came in that accused of all these different things in my bloodline. And a lot of them were like being irresponsible with money, stealing, all sorts of weird stuff. And I just went and repented of all of that. And the Lord gave me that verdict for a not guilty, and that all of that has to be returned to me immediately and with interest. And when that happened, now I can stand on that anytime. So, for instance, if something gets lost, I will go, Lord, there's been contempt of court. The enemy is trying to do this when you said not to. It is supposed to be returned back immediately and with interest, and it always does. It always shows up. And so I recommend doing that. It's very helpful. It's been helpful for all of my family. I did that for all of my family. I even had an aunt who just came to know the Lord, like literally the day before. She lost her wallet with, like, I can't remember, thousands of dollars in it because we were on vacation. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm a mess. And I just said, well, I know this is going to sound strange, but the Lord has led me to do a lost and stolen things court case for our family in the spirit. So all you have to do is ask for it back. And she goes, can you do that? And I said, you need to do it. I know you're brand new, but you just ask the Lord, can I please have this back because the enemy stole it? Even though she left it somewhere, it was her fault. Everything lost and stolen should be returned back immediately. Well, It was a very weird, crazy thing that happened to get it back to her. Someone found it, turned it into the front desk. The front desk didn't have a way of finding anything, but it had an old last name of hers in her wallet. And so they ended up calling her ex husband and in a different state. Okay. Calling her ex husband, talking to his new wife, who happened to have her phone number. And then, anyway, got it all back. It was a miracle. And you know what that did to her faith? It raised her faith like crazy because it was so outlandish. There's no way it could happen without the Lord's intervention. And it's so cool to see. So these things, they're for our benefit too. It's not just, oh, we can do this. It will help the kingdom when we do things the kingdom way. It really will. So remember that. River, I saw you were trying to unmute earlier. Oh, Lorado, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, but River can speak first since she unmuted first.
All that I was just going to say was I was just going to say this is so good. And I really appreciate this whole thing about governance, and that's all I was going to say. It was just I'm happy about this.
Oh, well, that's nice. Thank you. I thought maybe you were falling asleep, so I'm glad to hear that. Okay, Lorado, what is it?
Yeah, governance is amazing. I keep being reminded of me floating in the air and being in control, yet resting. And hearing what you said that you got reminded of as I was mentioning the pen situation. I have a lot of list of things where money went missing or stolen or I lost it or I made wrong decision. But even recently, there's a guy I'm following. He borrowed 4,600. He got fired and he asked for money and I assisted him. Now he's ignoring me. And I just told him that I'll escalate you to my father. And I knew he didn't know what I meant, but I knew what I meant. And I didn't say anything else after that. I just kept quiet and like, Father, deal with him. But at the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe he needs more time. Let's give him time. And he keeps on ignoring me. So when I went to maternity, usually the government deduct money our um, from my salary. So there's a money that you're supposed to get from your maternity leave fund. And for me, every time I go, they show me this is the money. I think it was like 60,000. I could have done with a lot with that money. And for I was staying at home for 3 months after my son was born. It was supposed to support me for that 3 months. But I already have savings, so I used the savings instead. I didn't get that money. They keep giving me a story, postponing, come back next month. They said he's now almost 3. I haven't got that money. And the company, there was a time of load shedding, not load shedding, what you call it, where electricity was gone. There was money that we were supposed to get from our pension fund. And I had colleagues that received about 60,000. They were able to deposit cars when we were coming back from work. And I didn't get that money. I'm part of the group of people who didn't get their money. And the reason that I didn't get my um maternity money, they say my company claimed for money when I was supposed to be when we were told to take pension fund, when we were supposed to be released from work. So there was a case where our company claimed for money, but they never gave us the money. So because of that history, I didn't get my maternity pension. So even simple thing as buying online, I will always lose money and things disappear. So I definitely need to go to the courts of lost and stolen. I think that's probably why the Lord has brought it up.
That's
A
awesome.
lot of things, a lot of people. Yeah.
Ah, well, this is good.
Thank
This
you.
will be great for you. And I will tell you this. Remember when I said about the contempt of court thing? I have noticed a lot of times when we go in and do a court case, the enemy will do everything to come against that to try to make you believe it wasn't effective. And so that's why you have to come and say, no, there's been contempt of court. The enemy is not allowed to do this, because you have to stand on the promises of the Lord, even when the enemy's trying to undo the things. Okay. Because your faith has to be bigger than the enemy's attacks. And so just remember, no, it's simple. You just go with contempt of court again. It doesn't have to. I usually just go to the Father and say, Father, there's been contempt of court. They're not supposed to do this. Can you take care of it? It's like that easy. My sister, she doesn't even do that. She just speaks right to the enemy and is like, no, that's contempt of court, and does that. Okay. So you do whatever you're led to do. But just remember that you have that power, and that you don't just say, well, I did this and now it's not happening. We need to remember that in everything we do. If the Lord has promised me healing and all of a sudden I feel unhealed, I don't need to go, well, I guess it didn't really work. I need to go, wait a second. The Lord said this. And so I need to stand on his promises and come against what the enemy is doing. If the Lord has said, no, you're completely healed in this area. No, you will have money. No, I will do all this. I will say, wait a second. That's not what the Lord said. This is what's going to happen. We have to stand on these things. A lot of people will get prophetic words or whatever and say, well, I don't know. I was told I'd get an awesome husband and now I still have nobody. You get a prophetic word so you can stand on the prophetic word. That is your evidence in court, is that word. And so you need to know, no, this is what I need to use to come against what the enemy is trying to steal from me. So anytime the Lord gives you a promise, don't just go, well, I guess it was a lie. No, just go, no, the Lord promised this. The enemy is trying to steal it. I'm not going to let him do it. Make sure and do that. There are a lot of people in our class who get attacked all the time and roll over and whine about how horrible the Lord is. Okay. You're not going to, it doesn't work like that. If he tells you that you are free, then you are free indeed. Right? So you have to say, no, I don't get to be reshackled for this. This isn't what the Lord has said. And you call on those angels to come against them or whatever. You have angels who will fight for you if you need it. And so make sure you engage the angels, that you stand on the word with the Lord in the courts, that you do what you need to do to govern. But don't just roll over and be the one that is easily taken over. We are the victors. We are supposed to be the ones in power governing, not all of the enemy's workers. They're not supposed to be over us. We're supposed to be over them. That's the truth. And everybody has free will. They can go serve whoever they want to serve. And all these angels who went and decided to go against the Lord, they can do that too. But that doesn't mean that that's what I'm going to do. And they make their choices. They're going to have to, lie in their bed that they made. But we don't have to lie in their bed that they made. We need to make sure that we are doing what the Lord set us up for. He set us up to be priests and kings. We can't forget it. We have a tendency to forget it. I have a tendency to forget it. I am a priest and a king. I have everything I need. Every single thing I need is at my disposal in the kingdom. Everything I need to accomplish the things that the Lord has set out for me to do. So if there's anything standing in the way of that, I have everything I need to combat that. I just need to show up and go, what do I do, Lord? Show me what to do. Okay, you're not telling me to do anything. I'm good. Karen, you said, I'm having trouble hearing the angels. Welcome to the club, girlfriend. Okay, I'm just saying this because that's how I am. I really struggle with hearing in the spirit. Some people like Fair hear all the time in the spirit, and I have a little jealousy, I admit sometimes. Um, I shouldn't be jealous because the truth is she has certain gifts that I can depend on. I have certain gifts that she can depend on. But I struggle with hearing them too. Most of the time, it's by faith or it's like this knowing that I get. Okay. And so I might get a knowing that they're helping, but I don't see them. I don't hear them. I just know it. And so everybody is going to function a little different in the spirit. Just do whatever. If you're, earlier when you were saying, I just didn't want to share because I wasn't sure if it was right. It was so right on, Karen. You have to remember that everything you experience is from the Lord, and you will experience it really uniquely. And it is good. It's not only fine, it's good. And so you probably won't hear the same way Fair hears, you know? But she has struggles with even that, just like all of us do. I might get a knowing about stuff that I don't want to know about. And that happens to me a lot. Okay. So there are times when people will come up to me and I will know their deepest, darkest secrets. And I am like, I did not need to know that. And,
Awesome.
it's weird, isn't it? I mean, but we are like that. And Fair, she has the same thing. She's like, I don't want to hear all this in the spirit. Okay. We have a tendency to do that if we are functioning in our giftings. And so whatever it is, just keep pressing into your giftings. And if you need to engage these angels by faith, like I do a lot, like I know I have these angels who can go and help someone in the spirit with their car. I don't see them, I don't hear them, but I know they're there. And so I just will say, please, will you go and do this? And by faith, I am believing that they are doing it. And when I believe by faith that they are doing it, they do it. I've seen it. Even though I don't get it, that car will start working. This has happened to me with, I had a transmission that went out in my vehicle. I am not a car person, by the way, so I know like nothing about it, but I could not afford to fix that. And so I just was like, hey, you guys, can you help me please? And I just laid my hands on the hood of the car and I said, angels, please, I don't know how you can do it, but please, will you fix this? Let me tell you, that van started back up and everything was fine from that day forward. And it is amazing that they can do the work that I don't understand, but I have faith for it. And so believing, faith is the currency in heaven. Okay. I'm not kidding. Like there is a currency and that currency is faith. If you have faith, you can get what you need. I will say according to God's will. So if you're trying to get a Ferrari, but the Lord hasn't told you you need a Ferrari, probably believing for it isn't going to help you very much. But really, if you need something and the Lord is saying you need this, okay, he provided that van for my family. It was our only vehicle. I know I needed that van. He will provide and it will work. A different vehicle I had would not start. It would not start. The key wouldn't turn. Nobody could get it to turn. I tried everybody to try to get it to turn. It wouldn't turn until my kids said, well, did you ask the angels to help? And I'm like, oh crap, nope, I didn't do that. And then I'm like, okay, Lord, you better help with this right now because these kids are believing for it. And so anyway, started right up, turned. It was great. Every single time after that, it wouldn't start unless I engaged the angels to do it. So for years, like literally 2 years, it would not start for anybody but me because I was engaging the angels. When I went to turn it in to get a new car and trade it in, they're like, we can't get it to turn. What do you do? And I'm like, well, I would ask angels every time. And it was weird to talk about, but that's the only way it works. So I got very little on that trading because I couldn't get it to work. But you know what? We can do this, and the angels can help us do this with anything we need. Anything. So let's just remember that we're all working together in the kingdom, and they love helping just like we love helping. If they asked us for help with something, we'd be like, okay, what do I do? Right? I mean, it would be exciting and probably scary, but we would do it. And so I know that's how the Lord is. He loves our kingdom to work together. And so, yeah, anyway. Okay, I went on for a long time about angels, but there you go. We can engage our angels. It's a big part of governing. Yeah. Also, try to work with the saints, the cloud of witnesses. A lot of the cloud of witnesses are here for our support to get stuff done that they had a mandate for. And so if you sense there are some around you that are the cloud of witnesses, be like, well, okay, how can you help? Ask. If you don't understand, ask the Lord. Say, hey, I don't know how they're here, but can you send them to help? I don't know how everybody works, but I've had angels I've asked to do stuff, and they would do stuff just to be nice. And then other ones who would say, nope, I can't do that, but I'll find someone who can. So at least, try. Because even if you don't hear anything from them, probably they're going to find somebody who will help. So, what, Karen? You can't do that to me.
Like I have an angel. I have an angel when there's trouble, he makes loud noises. He bangs on stuff to let me know, wake up, get up, something's going on, wake up.
Uh-huh.
But then I want to ask him, okay, well, can you go on and go help him? Because so I could lay down and go to sleep. But I don't know, like I don't know why they not moving. They just keep making noise. Like, get up, girl, get up.
It's probably because they can't do everything. Okay, because I have the same thing, but it's not with noises. I have angels who will manifest in my sight. So basically, I will see them come into the natural, if that makes sense. Like with my natural eyes, they will do that to get my attention. So for me, it's like they're saying, turn on your spiritual antenna, pay attention, something's going on. And so that's what they do to me. It's not like they aren't there to help, but I need to be paying attention. So I have some sort of governing, or maybe I need to get up and do something, whatever it is. They're like, pay attention, because I have a tendency to be paying attention to whatever's happening around me. I'll just be honest. I'm not always paying attention in the spirit. And so they're like, come on, pay attention. And so then I'm like, oh, what's going on? And when that happens, almost always it's like an assignment. Like I have to do something. I'm part of something that needs to happen. So if they're doing that to get your attention, pay attention. Just turn on your spiritual antenna and go, okay, what's going on? What do I need to do? And if you're like, I don't want to move, it's okay, but ask the Lord what to do. Like ask him what to do, or say, oh, Lord, please go protect, or are there angels to protect, or whatever needs to happen. Just be paying attention in the spirit at least, because I think they're trying to get your attention, so you pay attention.
I want to add this. They may be experiencing what I am experiencing at times, where there are layers or parts that block your perception to hear what to do when you are calling out to the Lord. That is a reality that I have learned a little recently. So that's something to address as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Fair. Cool. Any other questions or comments? All good? Okay. Well, I would say, please, this week, try to be intentional. Ask, what am I supposed to be governing? Like, what are my mountains I'm supposed to be paying attention to? And if you already have an idea of some, you're probably right, but not necessarily. So just say, Lord, is this right? Am I supposed to be governing this? Like, obviously, if you have kids, you probably know you're supposed to be governing your kids. Okay. There are certain things like that are a little obvious, but maybe not. So just ask, what is it I'm missing? And then show up for it. Be intentional. Whatever he leads you to do, just be the one who opens the grocery store doors. Okay. Make sure everybody's in place to do their stuff and be the one to open things for business. Okay. And do that in your life with everything. Okay. Just try to have even 5 minutes. Okay. For me, it doesn't take very long. For some people, it takes an hour. Okay. So you be you, do what you're led to do. But for me, it usually only takes 5 to 10 minutes for me to govern in the morning. It doesn't take that long. It's just showing up for it and seeing where I'm supposed to focus and doing what I'm supposed to do. And he'll lead me to help other people too. So there will be times when he's showing me, this person really needs help. You need to help govern their business today, or whatever it is. I need to help this person who is struggling and depressed. Okay. And I start to go, okay, Lord, what do we do for them? So you just do you, but do whatever you're led to do. And even if it's not the same as yesterday, just show up for it. Okay. Please try to be intentional every day. Like the Lord has told me, I don't have to govern on Sabbath. For me, my day of rest is literally a day of rest in the spirit where I don't govern. I don't know if it's like that for everyone. I expect it probably is, but I know that I'm not supposed to govern on Sabbath. That's something that I can literally lay down my sword, lay down any responsibilities I have, and just rest in him, his love, his intimacy, his healing, everything for myself. So it might be that same way for you. I would guess it is. I really feel like that is a universal thing, that's part of rest, is really letting him govern. So know that if you're having a time, there's one more thing I forgot about. If you're having a time of real struggle, like I'm not okay, I can't govern. If you're feeling like this, make sure you ask Yeshua to take over your throne. Okay? Make sure he's taking over your throne to govern for you. If you don't do that, the enemy will take over your throne and start governing your life. Okay. I've seen it. It's freaking weird and scary. And so just be intentional to abdicate your throne to Yeshua until you're through whatever season it is, or however the Lord leads. Here's what I will tell you. Our tendency is to go, well, if I can do that, then why can't I just do that all the time? He can just lead everything. He can, but the Lord is trying to raise us into responsible kings and priests to do what he does. And so that's why we don't want to just leave it like that. We want to step back up when it's our time. Yes, we won't do it as well as Yeshua, but we will be learning and we will be growing in the process. And that's how it's supposed to be. So we are kings. He is the King of Kings. Okay. So he's the king of us. He will lead us into what to do as kings. But we need to make sure we know our place and who we really are. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. Happy day, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Pleasure.
one, ladies. All
You
right.
too. All right. Love you guys.
Love
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.